Hi, for this part, we will be deploying Technology backend. And firstly, I'd like to apologize. This is the third time of the recording, so I have already created backend, and then I already made the video of the front end. I didn't realize I lost the part for the backend, so this is the third time re-recording. So instead of doing all this again, I'll just do the how to deploy the backend. But after watching this, and then when you watch the front end, you will understand how it has been configured. Firstly, we will have to clone our backend. This, so assuming that this repo is the one that you have forked from source one, which is my repo. So we will have to go here and then copy the site, and somewhere inside our, sorry, let me clean up real quick. Okay, so somewhere inside our local computer, we will need to clone it, git clone. To do so, we just have to do this, git clone, and then paste the URL that we just copied here. Press enter. So now we'll have a chat backend and the chat backend old, which is the previous one's data, and then the chat front end. So we can go to chat backend. Inside here, firstly we will have to do composer install. Okay. Next is we will have to copy the env environment variable example file to environment variable file. The command would be cp.env example, not env.example, which is Laravel generated by default one, and then to a new file that is .env file. When we check, we have now env.example and then env file. We will have to make changes to env file. To do so, we have to, I use Vim, but you can always use any text editor. You can even use the graphical one. For example, here inside bar, where I put the chat demo inside here. So here, you can always change like this. If you are using, whether if you're using Windows or Mac, it's the same. You just need to quickly quickly set some things here. We can either use Notepad or Notepad++ or anything. So inside here, chat 2 app env should be production, and then the app key, which we will have to generate from some sites like generate.random.org. Since this is the Laravel Lumen, a very minimal framework, they don't have the command to generate app key. So inside here, we'll need to generate one string with at least with 32 characters, and then at least one lowercase, uppercase, number, and maybe the symbol, but I don't use that. So we have this key string. So we'll click, and it will copy. Oops. And then we can just paste it here, and the app debug should be false. So next, we will have to make changes to this DB connection, DB host port, database username and password. Oh, and now we have to save. Next, we have to generate the JWT, which is a JSON Web Token. It's secret. To do so, we have to do PHP artisan JWT, then colon and secret. Now it will generate some strings. Now that we have the JWT secret and some strings generated here, we need to have this before we generate this, and we need to have the app name because as I understand, this secret is generated based on the key and the app name, I guess. So now that this is completed, we can keep it just like that and then turn back to DigitalOcean, something like this. So to do so, we'll do the create and then GitHub up app GitHub, and we'll select the backend. After generating the database, you will have to go here, and the first time when we're here, DigitalOcean will ask for the permission to access to either your GitHub or GitLab or use Docker Hub and stuff. So from our backend, we will have to give some permissions. So inside here for DigitalOcean, you'll have to give access to either all repository or only selected repositories. I gave two, front end and back end, so DigitalOcean can see these repositories from here, here, and then DigitalOcean will be able to see, get access from here. So now we can select this, and again, assuming that it is checked backend, that you have forked. So what we'll have to do next is this can be master, and this can be just as it is, and it will generate some fish names for the app, but we can change it later. We can change this. This will be the resource name, and the web service uh, should be web service. We can leave this as it is, also these two. And then next we will have to add a resource, and it has to be the database, and add. Okay, so for the dev, okay, we'll have to choose either it's a dev or the previously created one. We'll have to select this and then select the cluster that we have just created and the database, which is deployment that we have just created too, and the user as the EU admin deployment, and then attach the database and go to next. So now we've come to environment variables. We will have to do the edit and then bulk editor. So inside here, we can copy everything here and then paste it back here. And we will have to make some changes for the DB part to here, and then change these values that are going to be inside the database. This is host and host, DB host, and then the port should be this. The database should be the second one, and the username can be this one, and the password for that username is this one. Okay, and we have the TLDT secret generated, so we save it, and it will generate sets of inputs based on our variables here. We can always come back and make changes. Okay, so yep, this of the database. Okay, console. Right. So next, we can now change that start app to, and we can put in the project. So for now, we just do actually chat and the region. You can change this from Bangalore to New York or everywhere, anywhere you prefer, where most of your user base will be. And then save this, and we can review this price $5 basic back chat. This can be just like that. Phone. Okay. 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 We check the current demo 2. Demo 2. The university. Now, now that it is set, we can create a resource. So it will take some time. It will take some time to build. Okay. So now it is being deployed. Then we can check whether it is up. So this is rendering the correct one. If we go to the root page, it will just give us the current date and time, which is correct. So next we can do the database migration and feeding. So to do that inside the console, we'll have to type the command php artisan migrate with the flag of C, so that it'll migrate the database table and also put in some basic required uh, like user roles and usernames, the default users inside the database. So we'll do this. It'll ask if we are sure because it's in the production environment, and we have to say yes. Okay, so it will do some migrations and then some seedings, and it's completed successfully. So there are no issues inside uh, between the backend application and the database. So next we can we can uh, configure the domains. By default, they'll give this randomly generated app, 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 app how to say, domain. So, but we can do it here. Right here, we can do like .com. We can do like this, and inside here, for the demonstration purpose, we'll use this. But if you want to configure your domain name from your domain name registrar, for example, and then you can use this, copy the CNAME and then put it somewhere in the domain name registrar. For this, for me, I have configured the domain names for Stellar Power Group, so I'll use this, then add the domain. So yes, in a few minutes, hopefully it will be configured and we can access to this, and that should be it. That should be how to deploy the backend to the DigitalOcean. Yep. So it is active, and if we go there, we can also see the same current date time. So this is set. Backend for Aquila chat is now set. Yep. So thank you.